Welcome to the Learn Tarot with Moxxie podcast, where you can learn to read the tarot for yourself and for others. Here we look at the tarot from all angles, and I share the very best ways to use it to work through past trauma and create the life that you love. So join me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Learn Tarot with Moxxie podcast. It's Michelle here today, as every day, me and my mouse in my pocket. And today we are going to do our monthly reading, our monthly taroscope for each sign of the Zodiac. This is a long one, I'm just letting you know, but there are timestamps in the show notes if you want to just skip to your sign or your friend's sign or your partner's sign or whatever. So clearly I welcome you and would encourage you to listen to all of the podcast, but if you do want to skip around, that is an option for you. Before we get started though, I just wanted to remind you to send in your questions. If you would like your question turned into an on-the-air reading, please send me your question. I am just starting to put that out there and hoping to start to get some questions coming in that I can use as case studies for readings to share with you all and to give someone once a month an option to get a free reading. Of course, 100% confidential. None of your personal information will be shared, but listening to readings is a really nice way to get a feel for how other people read, for different interpretations of the cards, how professional readers put the card meanings together and sort of tell the story. And that's one of the most difficult parts, I think, to learning how to read the tarot, is to combine or synthesize all of that information and learn to output, spit out, speak out a clear, relatively concise explanation of what that situation is. So listening to other readings is a great way to do that. But that is the only announcement for this week. So without any further ado, let's jump in to the reading for the month for Pisces. And this is a 3-card reading for everyone. We're talking about the general vibe for the month. We're talking about an area where there is potential for growth for us this month. And we're talking about a card that can help us make that growth a reality. So let's jump in. Hello there, Pisces. This is your reading for the month of March 2023. We're going to ask 3 questions, and the questions are: what is the general vibe for the month? What area is there potential for growth for me this month? And what are some practical suggestions for putting that growth process into practice? So let's see what we've got. Card number 1. In relationship to the general vibe, we have the 7 of Cups. Boy, okay. 7 of Cups is a card of possibility, of choice, of making a decision, and ideally making a careful and considered decision. When we see the 7 of Cups, it's showing us that there's a lot of opportunity available, but it's also asking us to really take a look at what it is we want and choose carefully. Second card in relationship to where growth is possible. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, as we know, is all about being disciplined, serious, in control. The Queen of Swords is one who you don't want to mess with. You don't want to tick her off and then have to go to her like in the principal's office, right? She has this vibe about her that is no muss, no fuss. Cracking a joke in front of her when she has business to attend to is not likely to go over well. So this is the area where there is growth. And so what does that mean when this court card comes up? How is the Queen of Swords related to areas of possible growth for you this month? In a couple ways. The Queen of Swords could be coming up here as a suggestion that maybe you need to embrace more of those Queen of Swords traits. Is there something going on in your life where embracing more of her traits would benefit you, would be an area where you could grow into yourself? So for example, let's say you are a manager and management is hard for some people. Actually, management is hard for everyone, but for some people in particular, because they don't necessarily, they don't want to offend their employees. They don't want to create problems on their team. They maybe are not the most assertive person in the world, or maybe they haven't quite figured out yet how to keep professional boundaries between their employees and themselves. And the Queen of Swords very possibly could be coming up as a suggestion that says, hey, you need to learn to create these boundaries, or you need to learn to stick to these boundaries in this work situation. Could also be related to a personal situation where you need to look at things a little bit more objectively and take yourself out of the realm of feeling and focus a little bit more on logic, what's there, what's going on, kind of a gentle nudge to live a little bit more in the world of reality, even though we don't really want to right now because the world of reality is really challenging. But it could be a suggestion that says, hey, you've been not necessarily living in this world of reality quite as much as you need to these days. And this is an opportunity this month where you have some growth possibilities. And this might be something that you want to look at. In terms of suggestions for putting this into practice, what can you do to take this area of potential growth with the Queen of Swords this month and convert that into practical activities? Well, you have the Page of Pentacles here. So we have another court card. Pentacles, as you remember, are about money, finance, business, earthly things. Often the court cards in the realm of the Pentacles are about hardcore, stuff. They really enjoy their things. They enjoy having money. They enjoy being able to spend money and having luxuries and those types of things. When we have the Page of Pentacles here, we have a youngster who is just moving into who they are as a page adult. Often very paper route, lemonade stand type kids, right? Kids who are a little bit more mature sometimes than your average kid, and kids who are looking at things like, okay, I know that I want this, and in order for me to get that scooter that I want, I'm going to have to sell 25 glasses of lemonade at whatever price. So when we look at these cards together, we have the Queen of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. When we look at them together, then we can, I think, get a little bit more of a full meaning. Because we have the Page of Pentacles here, because this card is focused on business and finance and money and those types of things, I am assuming that in this case, the Queen of Swords is coming up as an area of growth, because there is some potential that maybe you have either been a little bit too Queen of Swords lately, a little bit difficult in a work situation, a little bit of particularly high expectations or unrealistic expectations. And this card is saying, hey, the Queen of Swords is coming up in the relationship to business. However, it could also be saying, and because this reading is for Pisces, I think there's a bigger chance that this card is also saying, hey, Pisces, you are very, very sensitive. And in the world of business, you're going to have to figure out this balance between having this Queen of Swords energy that you need to have in order to be able to be successful, and not losing your caring human side that you are as a Pisces. So looking at that balance. So in a nutshell, what does all of this mean? This means that in general, you have some possibilities this month. You have some decisions that you're going to have to make. Ideally, think about them, consider them, make them carefully. So the general vibe for you this month, Pisces, is this vibe of possibility, of choices, of opportunities, and a suggestion that you are thoughtful in making your choice. An area where you have possibility for some growth this month is in your Queen of Swords energy, in your energy related to the Queen of Swords. Potentially either too much or too little of this type of energy, because as the Pisces, it's a tough balance for you. And lastly, we have the Page of Pentacles here. The fact that the Pentacles are showing up as something new and business oriented leads me to believe that it is coming up because the cards are suggesting that your Queen of Swords issues or challenges, or whatever you need to look at in relationship to the Queen of Swords, is more than likely focused on your business world, your work, your profession, something along those lines. And that is where you need to be putting that growth into practice. All right, Pisces, you have a fabulous month. Enjoy making your choice. Choose carefully. And yeah, take a look at your Queen of Swords energy and just kind of see where you are this month. See if it's feeling too strong, too weak, and figure out, use the Page of Pentacles, maybe pull a few other cards and figure out how you can balance that energy and use it to your best advantage. Hello, Aries. We have your forecast, your tarot scope for the month of March. And it's a nice one, actually, I think. We're going to start out with the general vibe for the month. Just kind of what's floating around. How are you likely to feel? What's available for you to feel? Is it going to be an easy peasy month for you, or is it going to be a crazy stressful one? And we have the Six of Cups here. The Six of Cups is a really nice card for a general vibe because it's all about sort of taking ourselves back to simplicity, about remembering things from our past potentially, looking at things through a lens of experiments, meaning looking at things from the perspective of what you did as a child, what happened as a child, how can you reflect on that? What were some of the good memories that you had? It's just really a nice card. You may be feeling a little bit melancholy this month, depending on what your situation is, but you also might just be feeling grateful or particularly connected to someone you love, someone from your past, someone, a friend, a relative, someone with whom you were able to really, truly be yourself. And so that's kind of the general vibe for the month. It's just this chill, relax, bask, I guess is a good way to put it. Bask in the glow of this calm vibe of relaxed happiness and positive memories. Now, in terms of where you have some growth available this month, we have the Two of Swords. And the card that offers some suggestions for how to put this possible growth into action is the Sun. So the Two of Swords reminds us that it can be really, really difficult to make a decision. When we are in this space where Two of Swords space, we are struggling to see the possibilities. We're struggling to see the right answers to something. We often have a decision to make and we just are not sure which way to go. Do we go this route or do we go that route? And which one is going to be the best? This card also suggests that we try to use our intuition a little bit. If we are stuck, if we are in a position where we are trying to make a decision, it's a reminder for us to look inside and see what's there. What is our intuition? What is our gut telling us? So that is the type of growth that's possible. It could be maybe you are coming up with a solution. Maybe you are just simply in an area or in a space in your life where you're going to be working on some of these choices, some of these things that you have to figure out. And that's why this card is coming up for you. Meaning you have some difficult choices to make. You're not quite sure what to do. And this card is coming up because it is a suggestion that there's possible growth for you in this area. So if you have a difficult time making decisions, if you have a difficult time seeing all of the answers, this card is saying, okay, we recognize that there's something going on in this realm with Aries this month. And what we don't necessarily know is exactly how, what we don't know is where the growth is in conjunction with this Two of Swords. Meaning, okay, well, there is growth possible, but is it growth meaning I'm going to be able to finally make a decision I need to make? Is it growth in that I'm going to become more comfortable in myself and learn that I make good decisions? Is it something more related around how you make a choice as opposed to a particular choice? That is a possibility. The suggestions for putting this growth into practice is the Sun, which is lovely. The Sun is a card of success, of just rejoicing in what is. The Rider-Smith-Waite deck has a naked little baby riding a horse in pure joy, and that's the vibe of this card. So in terms of putting this potential growth around the Two of Swords into practice, the suggestion is not to drive yourself crazy. Don't beat yourself up. Don't focus too hard on it. To assume that you've got this, to assume that you have the right answer, and to trust your intuition, because the Sun is all about you did it, you got it right. Awesome, good job. And if you can learn to trust that intuition when you're struggling to make these choices, that's going to open up a world of possibilities for you. So in this context, I think the Sun is really there as a reminder for you that, number one, you can do this. Number two, looking at it as already having happened will help you manifest it. And the possibilities for success around this are really good. So wherever it is that you're struggling with decision making or coming up with a specific decision or how you make decisions, there is opportunity for growth for you in that area this month. And there is also the suggestion of keeping it light, making the assumption that you just rock already and you've got this. So to wrap up for you, Aries, your general vibe is just this lovely general vibe of chill family reunion, relaxing, enjoying your family, enjoying where your life is right now. It's that vibe of looking back at home movies or remembering a particular event so fondly. It's just that warm, fuzzy vibe. And then we have some growth possibility around our decision making. And the suggestion for putting that into practice is to just assume that it is already so, that you are already successful and you've already made the right decision. And that is your Taroscope for the month of March. Have a great month, Aries. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your Taroscope for the month of March. We're doing a 3-card reading today. We're doing a general vibe card and then 2 cards that go together. One is an area where there is possibility for growth this month, and the complement to that is what are some suggestions, or what is a suggestion for putting into practice whatever growth we're able to achieve this month. The general vibe card for this month is the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is the prodigal son coming home in victory. It's you being recognized for having done something well, having done something correctly, having achieved or conquered something. And in this position of the general vibe, it's indicating that something that you're working on is likely coming to an end of some sort, or something big is coming to an end, and whatever it is will be a successful end. It will be an end that you share in public, right? That it's something people will notice and recognize and potentially even celebrate you a little bit for. So that is some nice energy. And this could relate to work. It could relate to relationship. It could relate to pretty much anything, right? It's just a card indicating that you have done something really well, that now is your time to shine, to sort of toot your own horn and bask in the joy, right, of this vibration this month. Okay, that is fantastic. Now, the area where growth is possible, we have the 10 of Swords. And the card that represents suggestions for putting this growth into practice is the Devil. So let's talk a little bit about these cards. The 10 of Swords is a card of endings. It is a card of difficult endings, sometimes extremely difficult endings. Could be endings in which we feel like we have been betrayed or stabbed in the back. If you've ever seen the Rider-Smith-Waite deck, that's exactly what we're looking at, right? Is a man lying on the ground with literally 10 swords sticking out of his back. So the vibration, the energy of this card, the meaning of this card is difficult endings, potential betrayal, but possible new beginnings. And yes, this is a cycle that's coming to an end, or an event that's coming to an end, or something that is coming to an end, and it's coming to that end in a difficult way. That ending makes space for a new beginning, and things can only go up from here. So while the card is a card of difficulty, it's not a card that lacks hope. It's more a recognition of something really difficult and an invitation to move beyond it. So how does this fit into an area where growth is possible? It could mean, yes, that you're going to go through something challenging this month, something that's really difficult. And there will be opportunities for moving beyond this difficult thing this month and into something that is better. So yes, this card could be experiencing something difficult, and that area of difficulty is where we have the potential for growth. So for example, let's say someone is getting a divorce. Someone's blindsided by a divorce. Their partner shows up, they have paperwork, the other person is completely shocked and crushed, right? That is that feeling, that is an ending. It is a very difficult ending. It is a troubling, sad ending where one feels betrayed. And it's an opening for the beginning of something better. It's the opening of the beginning of a new life. So it could be that we're looking at the Ten of Swords from that perspective, that yes, there is something specific that's going to happen, that is going to be challenging, that potentially has the potential to be very impactful on your life as a whole, okay? But it also could be that this card is coming up because maybe you don't always deal with difficulty in the best way. Maybe this card is coming up as a reminder to you that you're going through some difficult things right now, and you need to step back and take a look at how are you going through those things. Are you catastrophizing? We've all done it, right? Are you looking at the negative instead of the positive? And I'm not saying bullshit Pollyanna stuff. I'm just saying, are you looking at what is as opposed to what your assumptions are in your head or what your fears might be? Somehow, some way, there is the possibility for some challenge here this month for you. But there's also a possibility for some amazing growth. Now, the suggestions for putting this growth into practice. What do we need to do? How can we put this into practice? The Devil card is a card of giving away our power in a lot of ways. The Rider-Smith-Waite image is of the devil and two naked humans, very feeling, assumingly very vulnerable and scared, are at his feet, and they have chains around their necks, but the chains are so loose that they can take them off. So it's this feeling of being stuck, being trapped, and being able to actually do something about it. So, what does this mean in relationship to the Ten of Swords? What this means in relationship is that we need to take a look at what it is that is giving us a problem. What area is our difficulty? We need to step back. We need to look at it logically, clearly, through the lens of objectivity. And we need to look at where might we be giving our power away? Where is it that we're allowing someone to, quote, do something to us or treat us a certain way or impact our lives in a way that is so dramatic? The Devil card suggests that you have the power to take those chains off. You have the power. You have given somebody else your power, and you have the ability to make this better. And now it's time for you to make a decision about how you're going to proceed and make a plan for freeing yourself from this situation, or freeing yourself from how you're dealing with this situation. Maybe you're dealing with a situation with a lot of anger. And while we all know anger is sometimes justified, it never feels good and it rarely accomplishes anything, right? So maybe this card is coming up because there's something around your situation where you are just so pissed off that you can't see straight, and it's got you trapped and feeling like, you've got 10 swords sticking out of your back. This card could be suggesting that you need to free yourself from anything from alcohol addiction, drug addiction, whatever, to negative self-speak, right? The devil is not about the devil. The devil is about what is it that you are giving your power away to. What is it you're giving your power away to? That's bad English. And what can you do about regaining that power? What is it that you need to recognize in relationship to the Ten of Swords that's going to help you get your power back and address and move past whatever it is that's going on in relationship to the Ten of Swords? So let's wrap up. Just quickly, we'll do a summary. We have the Six of Wands, the amazing, wonderful, you rock card. That is the general vibe for the month. So that's a good thing. And there is something challenging somewhere going on. It's either related to you feeling personally betrayed, going through something with someone, or it's related to how you deal with being betrayed, feeling the way you feel, how you address feeling the way we feel when we are in that Ten of Swords space, where we're laying flat out, we got swords in our back, and everything sucks. And then the Devil card is a reminder to you that regardless of how the Ten of Swords fits into your life this month, you can do something about it. You can take some control and maybe not 100% fix everything, maybe not snap your fingers and have it better, but you can have enough control. Put yourself back in the driver's seat. Let's call it that, because I don't really like control so much. But you're putting yourself back in the driver's seat as the person moving your life forward and the person navigating, as opposed to letting someone else navigate for you because of your fears or your concerns or whatever. I just want to point out that the general vibe for this month is that positive prodigal son being recognized for doing something amazing. So keep in mind that there's every possibility that whatever it is you are working through this month is going to be highly, highly successful. Okay, so let's look at it from that perspective. Let's tie all three of the cards together and just make the assumption that yes, you have a little bit of work to do this month, but you're going to rock it. Everything's going to be great. You're going to succeed. That was sort of a long, short, but I wanted to make sure that you all understand that just because we have cards that people assume are difficult. Does not mean that the life, that the world is ending, that things are absolutely horrible. There's always possibility for growth in everything that we're doing. So you have a good month. Go take care of business, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Happy March, you Geminis, you. This month, we're going to do a reading with 3 cards. We're going to do one card that discusses or illustrates the general vibe of the month of March for you as the Gemini. We're going to pull a card for an area where there is some possibility for growth for you this month. And we're also going to pull a card for suggestions about how you can actually implement or put that growth that's possible into practice. Let's talk about the King of Cups in the position of the general vibe for the month. Of all the kings, this king is the most emotional, the most emotionally volatile, the most creative, and probably the most restless. So he has a lot of creative energy, a lot of ideas, a lot of the wiggles is kind of how I think of him, as somebody who is sitting there listening to someone else talk, and he's jiggling his leg, right? He's tapping his toe, he's fidgeting. He has a really hard time, in some cases, settling himself down, focusing his energy, and taking advantage, really, of all of his own positive attributes. So you may be feeling a little bit wonky this month. You might be feeling a little bit stifled. Maybe you have something that you really want to do that's creative, that you're being stuck, that you're not able to do that for some reason. The King of Cups is a card that in some ways indicates a stifling of intuition and creative energy. So take a look at what's going on for you, and is there something that you need to loosen the reins on a little bit? Is there something creative, or do you need to open up perhaps your intuition and let it flow with a little bit more ease? So that's the general gist of the month. It's not a bad month, but it could be a little bit of an on-edge month. So just be aware, be aware that you could feel like your creativity is being stifled a little bit. You could feel like your intuition is being blocked a little bit this month. You might also feel like you just kind of, you want to get something done, you want to do something, but you have no idea what that is. That sense of edgy and antsy and ready to go, raring to go, but without really knowing where it is you're supposed to be putting all of that energy. So try to enjoy the creativity of this. Try to open up a little bit to the creativity that's you seem to be blocking, or that you're potentially blocking this month. See if you can allow yourself to open up a little bit more to the intuition that you may be potentially blocking. And lastly, the King of Cups is the most, I may have already said this, the most emotional of the kings. And that means he's the most likely to speak out of frustration or out of overwhelm and that type of thing. So just be aware as you go through your month that this is there for you. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to be creative. Give yourself the opportunity to use your intuition, and things should flow much more smoothly for you. In the position of the card of where there is some growth possible for you, we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is a card of setting things aside, of getting everything organized, of taking care of business, and then turning our back, walking away and taking some time to reflect, to travel, to just be in a space that is not necessarily with everybody else and of this world. It's almost like an invitation or a suggestion that you take a spiritual retreat, that you allow yourself to let go and walk away from everything that is really there for you right now. So how does this tie into an area where growth is possible? Could be a couple things. It could be saying, hey, this is a primo month for you to finally take that break that you've wanted to take. This is a time for you to take that vacation, to take that sabbatical, to organize what you need to organize, get everybody set up so nobody's upset or bummed out or whatever, and walk away for a little bit. It could be a suggestion that you take action, that you do take that break, but it can also be an indication of maybe changing your mindset in a way that gives you a little bit more space and a little bit more freedom, where you open yourself up to ideas of actually giving yourself permission to do some of these things, right? I mean, we have to give ourselves permission if we're going to do something like this that sometimes society isn't always real thrilled with, right? What do you mean you're taking a month off to address this, that, or the other thing? What do you mean you're taking 6 months off to look inside and write your book, write your memoir, whatever it is? So this could also, like I said, it could be a suggestion that you actually do these things, that you take this break, and it could be a suggestion that you just look at how you are living and learn to give yourself permission to take that break for yourself once in a while. We can't always be going like Energizer bunnies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sometimes we need that break. And if you are one of those people that has a difficult time taking that type of break, taking that space for yourself, this could be exactly the invitation that you need. Now, the third card, the card that's related to the suggestions for putting into practice whatever it is where we have this growth available, is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is a card of planning. It's a card of deciding what one wants, of organizing things in a way and setting yourself up for success, so that basically you've got your ducks in a row and the rest should just fall into place. So relating these two cards to one another could be that because you are someone who has a difficult time letting go, because you're someone who has a difficult time walking away, giving yourself that space, giving yourself the gift of that time, that your practical suggestion is to plan ahead. That's not a problem. Go ahead, plan the heck out of your break time, right? And by doing that, if you feel better, if you're more inclined to take the break, if you feel like by doing that you'll be able to actually relax into what it is you need to step away from, then by all means, plan the hell out of it. And likewise, if this is interpreted as an actual suggestion, where if you choose to take this break, if you choose to walk away from things for a while, there's something for you at the end of that tunnel. There is some sort of reward. There is some sort of, I don't want to say achievement. There is a reward, and that reward is whatever relates to why you took your journey in the first place, right? If you took your journey because maybe you are struggling and really thinking about making a career change, well, it can be very difficult to make a career change or even think about it and process it and really mull it over and turn it over in our heads when we're constantly deeply involved in our work, right? We can't step away from it far enough to take that break and take a look at it. And if this is related to finding something at the end of the journey, if what you are supposed to be learning is going to be found at the end of this time that you're taking, this space that you're taking with the Eight of Cups, again, just plan, right? It all goes back to planning. You might want to consider when you leave on your journey, when you head into your meditation. I mean, this doesn't have to be a 6-month thing or a 2-month thing or whatever. You know, it can also be a suggestion that you are using this time to meditate, that this Eight of Cups is about traveling inside. So in summary, the general vibe for the month could be a little bit wonky, could be a little bit disorienting and, well, wonky. That's the best word I can think of for it. And the area where you have growth possible is the Eight of Cups, some sort of journey, probably an inward journey, something to help you figure out something else. And suggestions for putting that into practice is basically just planning. Just looking at what you have going on, looking at what it is you want to do, whether you want to take, 2 hours to meditate, or you want to take a week to go to a retreat, or maybe you want to take a month and you want to go in the middle of the woods by yourself and just be. So whatever it is, you're encouraged to do it. You're just also encouraged to plan ahead so it works out as well and as smoothly for everyone as possible. So that's it. Have a great month. Try to embrace this wonky energy. It could be fun. You could use it creatively and intuitively, so enjoy it. And I'll look forward to talking to you next month. Bye-bye. Happy March, Cancer. We're going to do a 3-card reading today. We're going to do one card that talks about the general vibe of the month, kind of what's going on, how it feels in general. And then we're going to pull a card for an area in your life where there is some growth possible this year. I'm sorry, not this year, this month. And we're going to pull a card that offers some practical suggestions for putting that growth into practice, or practical suggestions for helping you to navigate that growth. The first card we have, the general vibe card this month, is the Death card. And essentially, nutshell, what this means is there is some new stuff coming. Yes, there is a death of sorts, but it could be, and probably is, a spiritual death. It has nothing to do with your death whatsoever. This is all about the beauty of the cycle of life. Basically, something dies, that gives an opportunity for something new to grow. And in this case, usually that something new to grow is something new in our lives, in our personalities, in who we are, and that type of thing. So this month could be a month where you do experience some sort of ending, some sort of big ending. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be anything. Anything that is significant in your life. We're not going to pull the death card because we decided to get bangs, right? This is about a large change in our lives and a large event. So anytime I see the death card, I get excited because it's possibility. That's really what it is. Yes, it's ending. Yes, it can be sad. It can be sometimes difficult to let things go. But simultaneously, there is this positive forward momentum, this positive energy, this driving toward what's next. So enjoy that this month. If you're aware of, what this big thing is that is dying off or leaving or ending, all the better, because you can more consciously work with it and let it go. But you might also find that the end of the month comes and you realize it's like, oh my gosh, the card for the month was the death card. This, that, or the other thing, this part of my life has completely changed and I did not see this coming. So keep that in mind as you navigate this month. The card for where growth is possible for you is the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is a card of partnership, of new partnership, of kind of giddy. It can be a love relationship, but if it is a love relationship, it's a new one. It's not a deep, abiding, long-term love. So we could be looking at, you need to get out there. Your area for growth this month is to get out there and meet some people that you can connect with, some people that, quote, your people, where you just feel at home with them. It also could be in a current relationship that you have. Maybe the Two of Cups is coming up for you to look at a current relationship with someone that needs some work, that has a glitch somewhere. And the card that comes up for suggestions for putting things into practice, for addressing what's going on with the Two of Cups, is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands actually fits very, very well into this suggestion that the area where growth is possible is in some sort of new relationship. And the suggestion that we need to put into practice is to be aware that we are very wary. The Nine of Wands is a card of having been damaged, having been in a battle, having been through some stuff, and starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Sort of that, what you would imagine if you were sequestered inside castle walls for a while and everything stopped, right? It looked like the siege was over. It's that Nine of Wands feeling that you have at that moment. It's like, oh, okay, is it good? Can I peek out the window? Is everything, am I going to get an arrow to the head? It's that type of feeling. So what this suggests to me is that this card is saying, hey, look, you're going to have to let your guard down a little bit. Yes, it's okay to remember our pain, to remember challenges that we've had in relationships. But in order for you to get where you want to go, in order for this relationship to go where you want it to go, this relationship that's in the Two of Cups, you really need to allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable. So if we tie these three cards together, it's actually quite interesting because What it looks like to me is that there is possibly the death of a relationship, the death of something in your life. If it is indeed a relationship, then the area where this growth is available is in how you are partnering, in how you are being in these relationships. And the suggestion for putting these into practice is to, same thing, to allow yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable, to say, yep, I've been through it and I'm strong enough, I'm going to try it again. And I'm very warily going to put myself out there in this position again. And that doing so is going to help me work through some of these challenges that I'm having with this person, with this Two of Cups relationship. So that's kind of a nice package. Some of these don't actually all tie quite so nicely together, but this is a nice one. It's not an easy peasy month. It's not saying, oh yeah, it's butterflies and rainbows, but it is saying that there's some opportunity for real deep, rich growth and relationship. So I hope that is what you are looking for, and I hope even more so that that's what you find. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Hello, Leo. This is your tarot scope for the month of March 2023. I have my own little Leo the Lion sitting here helping me, so it should be a roaring good time. Whew, that's a dead joke if I ever heard one. Okay, excuse me. Let's get started on your reading. So we're doing 3 cards this month, and we're doing one card that is the general vibe of the month, just sort of what type of energy is around you this month. And then we're doing 2 cards that are working together a little bit. The first is asking where in your life, what area has the possibility for growth this month. And the third card is the card that offers suggestions for putting into practice whatever it is that you have growth, wherever you have growth possible. So, one is a what's available, and then the other one is a great, how do I address getting what I want, or how do I address making it happen. The Queen of Swords as your general vibe for the month is telling me that your month is going to be cerebral, that your month is not necessarily going to be some kind of earthy love fest, that it's going to be more focused on analysis, on thought, on looking at what is available, analyzing what is available, making a decision. The Queen of Swords is, I think, none of the queens are horribly scary, right? Nobody in the tarot is scary. But if there was a scary queen, to me, it would be the Queen of Swords. She is the one who doesn't take any crap. She is sharp as a whip. She can take your argument and flip it inside out because her intellect is just that sharp. She's not the one that I would want to go in front of. I wouldn't want her for my judge unless I was sure she was on my side. In fact, when I teach people how to use the court cards, I often teach them to come up with some sort of persona that matches each card, because it helps create a relationship with those cards. And for me, the Queen of Swords is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Just smart, analytical, not cruel by any stretch. She was a wonderful person, but nobody you wanted to mess around with, somebody who could put you in your place very quickly, very easily. So the energy is That's the energy that is around you this month. So just be aware that this might not be the best month for you to run around being cocky about something because you're likely to be called out on it. Okay, so the area where growth is possible, this is wonderful. This is the star, which is basically telling you that you can grow in any darn area you please. The star is this card of hope and expectation, of possibility, of kind of a connection with spirit in a way that can help us manifest what it is that we want and what it is that we desire. So you're going to need to make that decision for yourself this month. Where is it that you want to focus your energy? Or maybe after you listen to this next card, maybe you will realize immediately where you need to focus your energy, where you should be trying to promote that growth. Because the next card, the card to suggest how to put the star card and all of its possibilities for growth into action, is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles card is a card of caution, of concern over lack, of kind of gatekeeping, even if it's just mental gatekeeping of our finances. You know, someone who, our finances or resources, right? Someone who just feels like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if I have enough. And if I'm not sure I have enough, that means I really have to hang on to what I've got. And that's the energy around suggestions for putting your growth into practice this month. So what does that mean? That means that there is something that you need to look at, that you feel this sense of anxiety about, of lack about, of maybe lack of control. It could be literally something financial. It could be that you're feeling like, oh my gosh, what an opportunity. This month is my month where anything is possible, but I worry so much about the finances that I'm afraid of taking that leap. Or my finances are so tight, if I take that leap and the situation doesn't work out for me, then what's going to happen? Then I'm really going to feel like that person in the Four of Pentacles card. So what this card is doing is asking you to take a look at your relationship to your feelings of abundance, your feelings of lack, and those feelings around typically material things, right? Because we're looking at the pentacles. Could also have relationship to physical things. So maybe there's something you want to do that, you know, you have concerns about, you know, whether or not you're in good enough shape to do it or healthy enough to do it or whatever. So this card is a suggestion to you that it's time to take a look at, you know, what it is that is keeping you kind of playing small, I guess is the good way to articulate that. So kind of an all over the place reading for you this month. Like I said, the Queen of Swords, just be aware, you know, something could come up for you where you're running into someone who has some authority over you, a professor, a judge, an attorney, something along those lines. You know, that's just like the general vibe of the energy around you, that like I said, the analytical intelligence, and it feels slightly anxious to me this month. So there's something around that for you there this month. And then growth being possible pretty much anywhere you want, which is a blessing and a curse, right? Because now you need to think about where it is you would like to put your energy. Now it's more of you having to make a choice. But knowing that the card that is offering suggestions for putting things into practice is the Four of Pentacles, you can look at where it is in your life, where your goals are, where your possibilities are, and look at among those possibilities, among those things where growth is possible, is there a potential block around finances, around security, around your health that is holding you back? And if that's the case, then what this particular month is pointing to is, okay, now it's time to address this thing, right? Now it's time to address the fact that you're having some financial concerns about starting your own business, and that's what's holding you back, or whatever the circumstances might be. So in a lot of ways, I think it's a lovely reading. Just kind of keep an eye out for, or just be aware that there are some possibilities for, like I said, some conversations where you're feeling put on the spot a little bit by that Queen of Swords. All right, you have a fabulous month, and I will talk to you in next week's episode. Take care. Hello, Virgo. Happy March to you. This month we're going to be doing a 3-card reading. We're going to look at the general vibe of the month for you as a Virgo. We're going to look at the areas where growth is possible, and we're going to look at some suggestions for actually putting that growth into place. Into making that growth happen if you so choose. So the general vibe of the month, that's the first card we're going to be talking about. The general vibe is a little bit of a challenging one this month. It is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is a card of concerns over lack, concerns that there's not enough resources of some sort, not enough money, not enough whatever it is that you might need. Typically, this card comes up around money and around finances, but pentacles can be related to health as well, meaning that there could be some concerns that you have, not necessarily that anyone else has, but that you have about your health that are keeping you feeling anxious or in a space of just where there's no ease for you. Keep in mind that the primary energy behind this card is not that it's an accurate perception that you are lacking something. This card is suggesting that you have the perception that you're lacking something. And there's a pretty big difference, right, in the two of those things. So, for example, I could feel like I don't have what it takes to be the next WNBA star, even though I'm 18, 6'5", killer athlete, have been playing basketball since my, professional basketball player father taught me all of those things. But if I don't feel like I can own that, if I don't feel like that's who I am, that's not who I am, right? So that's the feeling of this Four of Pentacles card. It's this feeling of, it's this perception that you don't have enough. So just keep that in mind this month. Keep in mind as well that even though you may be feeling this, you may be feeling that you don't have enough, you really do. And while this card is certainly not indicating massive wealth or massive riches. It does indicate a certain level of comfort, meaning that regardless of how you see things, the situation is actually better than you perceive it. And that is something really important to remember for this month. That it might kind of be an icky feeling month. You might be feeling this anxiety, this feeling of lack, or this feeling of self-protection for some reason, particularly around material things and money. But it is something that's going on with you. It's not necessarily something that's accurate, right? It's not really that you're truly having extreme difficulty, let's say, paying your bills, but you're feeling like, oh, that anxiety over what if I did, or I could, or I might kind of thing. So not a great one, but a good one to be aware of, because if you can be aware of it, and remember that one of our goals is always to try to view ourselves through a lens of objectivity, then we can see, if we're able to do that, it's like, oh, I'm doing that thing. I'm doing that Four of Pentacles thing. And I'm doing it to myself. And what do I need to switch gears to that's going to allow me to let go of this feeling of the Four of Pentacles? Do I need to go for a run? Do I need to get in my kitchen and cook my favorite meal? Do I need to play with my kids or my dog or whatever it is? But just be aware that this is an undertone for you this month, okay? Now, in terms of the area where growth is possible for you, we have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is probably the most bold, borderline loose cannon in the tarot. The Knight of Wands is the guy who acts before he thinks sometimes. He's the guy who's going to rush into battle and realize, oh crap, he forgot his sword, kind of thing, right? Not always thinking things through, more impetuous, more basically, sorry if you're a 21-year-old guy, but basically this energy of, a young, very energetic man who is so looking for adventure, and he is just raring to go. That's the Knight of Wands. So, in terms of in terms of an area where growth is possible, we can look at it from the perspective of a couple different things. Number one, is it time for you to embody more of this Knight of Wands energy? Maybe you've been living small. Maybe it is time to expand your horizons, get out into the world. A couple years of COVID, we all get complacent. We spend too much time at home and our lives get small. Maybe this is a card that's saying, hey, this is a time, this is a month where there's some opportunity for growth for you here, and it's time for you to take that opportunity. Likewise, the card could be suggesting to you that, whoa there, Tiger, it is time for you to slow the heck down, to bring it down a notch, to pay more attention to what you're doing, where you're going, why you're doing it, and be more mindful. So especially because this is a court card, right? Court cards often, almost always, invite us to look at the traits that they have in relationship to ourselves. So we're looking at the traits of the Knight of Wands in relationship to ourselves, either in potentially having more of this energy than we need, or potentially having less of this energy that we need, and trying to figure out a way to create a balance so we have this sense and this feeling of excitement and looking forward to, you know, getting out and conquering the world, but we're doing it in a way that is logical and safe. Regardless of which side of this coin you fall on, the card that is here as a suggestion for putting this growth into process or into practice is the Emperor. And the Emperor is the card that he's kind of like the dad of the tarot. He's got that energy of complete and utter control, ownership of that control. It feels justified in his position, feels like he has earned his position and probably has. And he also has this kind of interesting, expansive energy around him. So we often look at the Emperor strictly in relationship to the Emperor as a figure, as a man, as who he is based on what we know as emperor or of emperors, all of those types of things. But this card can also suggest that the Emperor represents this energy of taking up a lot of space, and not in an obnoxious taking up a lot of space, but there's an expansiveness about the Emperor. I've heard him compared, or his energy compared to the Grand Canyon, where it's just this glorious, this magnificence, this sense of all-encompassing beingness. It's hard to describe, clearly. But the card as the Emperor, when we look at how the Emperor card as offering suggestions impacts the Knight of Wands, we see it as, in some ways, helping the Knight of Wands rein his energy in a little bit. Helping the Knight of Wands slow down, focus, look at what's important, and make some carefully considered choices or decisions based on that. So regardless of which way you feel the Knight of Wands is hitting you this month in terms of, are you supposed to be growing into it or out of it a little bit, the Emperor is here to remind you that the best way for you to do that is you want to focus on what's right, what's just, what is traditional, doing things or moving things in the way that the Emperor will help you with this growth. Meaning the Emperor recognizing that, he's got a little bit too much of this sassy Knight of Wands energy, is such the quintessential adult, right? That he will sit down and he will analyze it and he will say, that's very interesting. I believe that I did this, that, and the other, and I believe that strategically I need to do this other thing to make this happen. That's kind of the energy. So you have one completely crazy loose cannon Knight of Wands, and then you have the Emperor. And the Emperor is suggested as the way of tempering whatever energy that this Knight of Wands has that you need to temper, whether it's a little too much or if it is not enough. So take a look at, where in your life you might be rushing into something, and take a look at your life and look at maybe where there's something around your sphere, something in your orbit that you really want to do, that you need to embody a little bit more of this Knight of Wands energy in order to have the courage to do that. And then you can look to the Emperor for support, basically. The Emperor is there, it's like, yep, I got you. We got this thing figured out. Bing, bada boom, bada beam. You're done. You got it. So he is there to support you. You just need to decide in what way you want to do it and be maybe a little bit more analytical about it than you otherwise would. All right, so yeah, let's wrap up just a little bit. Do not let the Four of Pentacles energy this month throw you. Look at it, if you can, as an opportunity to look at what's going on for you, look at the areas in your life where you're feeling lack, and allow yourself to explore that a little bit. Allow yourself to feel into that a little bit. You know, when we're feeling Four of Pentacles, we have a tendency to block off our feelings and block off our heart because it hurts and it's hard. But if we're able to open ourselves up and really look at what's causing it, we can actually help it go away. So that is my encouragement for you for this month. And then in terms of your growth, it's time for you to look at, are you too timid? Are you too bold? And I'm not saying too timid or too bold like, if you're at the bar, are you timid like you're not going to walk up and say hi to someone, or are you too much in their face? I'm talking way more big life stuff. This is much more about how you're living your life and the energy that you're putting behind it, which is fantastic. We just have to rein it in a little bit and keep it under control to a certain level so you don't burn yourself or anybody else out. All right, Virgo, you have a good month, and I will be back on the regular podcast next week for a regular episode. Have a good one. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your monthly tarot scope. This month, we're going to be looking at 3 different cards. We're looking at the general vibe for the month, just kind of what's going on for you, what type of energy is around you this month. We're looking at an area where there is some possibility for growth for you. You know, where is it that the cards are lined up, where the energy is just right, where you can take on something that you've been trying to address and actually have some success. And the last card is a suggestion for doing just that. What is it that you can do that will help you with this area of growth? All right. So 8 of Pentacles as your general vibe. 8 of Pentacles is a card of hard work, but it's not a card of drudgery or awful work. It's more of being in the zone. A lot of times the 8 of Pentacles is portrayed as an apprentice. A lot of times I see them being portrayed as artists, and they are just in this space where they are producing. They're cranking out those paintings. They're cranking out those pots that they're making. If it's someone not in the art world, they're cranking out, I don't know, widgets, whatever it is that they are working on. They're working hard, they're working happy, and they're getting shit done. It's lovely, right? So that's the energy that's available to you. That's the general vibe of the month. And this is the type of card that I would like to have come up for me when I'm looking at a particularly busy or overwhelming week, when I have a lot of stuff to do that I'm feeling scattered about. This card is sort of like, okay, having someone come up to you when you're looking all over the place and a little bit freaked out, having someone come up to you and gently putting their hands on either side of your face and, making you look at them and saying, take a breath, it's okay, we got this, just keep kind of cranking it out. We love doing this work, it's all good, right? So it's a nice reminder that yes, there is work. Yes, we have things that we have to do, but This is a month where you're in a space of productivity, of creativity, of just kind of that cool feeling you get when you're working on something and you're in the zone and you're making progress, and it just feels like almost like a meditation. And that's what's available to you in terms of your general vibe this month. The area where growth is possible is interesting. It's the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands typically is a card of basking in the glory of something well done. It is a card of acknowledging that you have done something well, that you have been successful, that you did a good job. And a lot of times this card is sort of the prodigal son coming home and being lauded by everyone. You know, he's riding his horse through the lane and people are like, yay, yay, you did such a great job, yay, yay, yay. So that's the vibe behind the Six of Wands. Now, in terms of where growth is possible in relationship to this card, because of the card that we have, because of the adjacent card, and we'll get to that in a moment, I am assuming that the correct way of interpreting this card, the Six of Wands, is that you need to be less hard on yourself. You need to be more willing to toot your own horn, that you are up to some wonderful things and you are creating something or doing something that's worthy of some recognition, and you're either not comfortable in the spotlight, you don't feel like you deserve that recognition, or you're just in this space of The general vibe of the Four of Cups is one of discontent and almost a wallowing in that discontent. I think of the Four of Cups as, me when I was 15 or 16 and, hating everybody, kind of, going through my emo phase. And the Four of Cups is a card that with the Four of Cups, we build up walls around ourselves. We build up blockages that even when someone else comes and offers a fig leaf or offers you that cup or holds an umbrella over your head or whatever it is that they do, you're still going to sniff and turn away. It's like, no, I can't even deal with your help. I don't want your help. I am really kind of happy in this pissy place right now. So that is the card that is here for suggestions for putting this practice into place. Now, keep in mind that just because that's the energy of this card does not mean that it is suggesting that you behave this way. What it is suggesting is that you need to look at the potential that you are behaving this way. These cards together are indicating that you have something amazing that you are doing, and you're in a space where you either can't see it for yourself, don't want to see it, something there that is keeping you feeling grumpy, negative, isolated, and kind of happy in this space of unhappiness. And the combination of these two really suggests that, all right, it's time to stop. It's time to be done with this. It's time to give yourself some credit. It's time to see yourself for who you truly are and step into what you know you can be and what you want to be, and make a conscious choice to leave behind this teenage angst energy that you're experiencing right now, okay? It almost feels to me like the energy someone would have oh, like a little kid who was so proud of something they did. I mean, just like, I did it, I made it, whatever it is, right? That they are just in this state of absolute glee, and then showing it to someone and having them, it's okay, whatever, you know. And having that type of thing repeated in your life again and again and again sets you up for not having expectations, right? You're going to go ahead and do what you're going to do anyway because you're that type of person. You're going to slay the dragon. You're going to create the new nonprofit. You're going to do whatever it is that Six of Wands energy is available to you for. You may not be running around tooting your own horn because past experiences have been such that tooting your own horn doesn't really benefit you. And this card is asking you to take a look at that and to start giving yourself some credit for the things that you do, the things that you're capable of, and who you are, and open yourself up to not necessarily everybody else. Don't be so concerned about what everybody else is thinking, but allow yourself to recognize your own greatness. And once you can start to do that, once you can start to see yourself for who you really are, you can begin to like yourself more, you can begin to value yourself more, and you can begin to move out of that space of, oh, it doesn't matter what I do because, you know, nobody pays attention, or I'm just going to do what I'm doing and it doesn't matter if I'm getting credit for it or not. And that's true, right? I mean, when we really truly do things from the bottom of our heart, credit is not necessary. But I think you get what I'm talking about. This is more about how we're treating ourselves emotionally, how we're valuing ourselves. And if we don't value ourselves, no one else is going to value us. So this is a month for you to take a look at that and remember everything that you have to offer and how valuable it truly is. All right. So yeah, wrap up. General vibe, happy, positive, get shit done month, and a time for you to take a look at how you're feeling about yourself and about all of the cool things you're doing and about having the courage to take up the space that you would take up by actually showing up as the person doing all of these things, not just sort of hiding in the background. So you have a little bit to think about there, and I will let you go ahead and ponder all of that good information, and I will look forward to talking to you next week in a regular podcast episode. Have a good one. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your March Tarot. We're doing 3 cards this month. We're going to be talking about the general vibe of the month. We'll pull 1 card for that, just sort of how the month is feeling, what's likely to be going on for you. We're going to pull a card to illustrate where there is some growth possible for you this month. And we're going to pull a card to suggest what you can do for putting that personal growth into practice, or making this personal growth happen, helping this growth happen. So our first card is the Ace of Wands, and it is the general vibration card for the month. And it is a cool general vibration card for the month, especially if you are getting ready to launch into something new. Aces are all about new beginnings, and wands are all about action. So this Ace of Wands card is illustrating the fact that this month there is available to you and around you this really nice, positive, forward momentum promoting energy. So keep that in mind and use it to your advantage. It could be a new project that you're working on. It could be an old project that you're reviving. It could be you're planning a worldwide tour, a trip, something kind of big, something kind of exciting and new and positive. So we're pretty darn happy about that. And the next couple cards are not quite so great. Okay, so the area where growth is possible, we have the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And typically that means that there's somehow, somewhere, we are missing the point of something. We have something that is worthwhile, but we're dissatisfied with it, and we're considering giving it up. And we really, really, really need to think about whether or not giving this thing up is going to address whatever it is we need it to address or what we want it to address. So, for example, maybe you have a business that you are considering closing. Maybe it's been a hard 6 months and you're not really sure what's going on. And, rather than take a chance, you're going to close the doors. And this card is a reminder to you that that's not necessarily what's going to happen, and to be careful when you make those decisions about walking away from something. So how does that all fit into where growth is possible? Well, it fits in that it is asking you to take a look at where in your life you might be dissatisfied with something, where in your life you might be considering putting an end to something, a relationship, a job, living in a certain city. And it's asking you and giving you the opportunity here to take a look, to look before you leap, is what this card is doing for us. And that is where the growth is possible for you this month, to try to avoid reacting and work from a space of conscious, intentional thought and action, as opposed to this sucks right now and I'm just going to bail on it. Now, in terms of cards that are here to help you and cards that offer suggestions for putting this into practice, right? For helping you recognize that you're doing this. Cards that are helping you, cards that recognize that you need to be careful about making a change. We have the Five of Cups in this position, in the suggestion for putting things into practice card. And I pulled another card because I was a little bit thrown by the Five of Pentacles. And we got another Pentacle card. So clearly whatever is going on for you this month, Scorpio, the growth area where there are some possibilities for you seem to be related to finance, work, money, investments, business, those types of things. So maybe you have been considering leaving your job, and this is just a suggestion that you really take a look, that maybe you have a tendency to be a bit of an impetuous person. And this card is saying, whoa, hey, slow down there, take a look, let's make sure we know what we're doing before we make a decision. And in terms of the two Pentacle cards for suggestions for putting things into practice, the Knight of Pentacles is really the most solid, staid, reliable, probably court card there is, I think. The Knight of Pentacles is very sedate. He is not off rushing around looking for a battle. He is all about security, about practicality, about managing what's going on in this physical world. The Five of Pentacles is a card that asks us to look at how we are interpreting things. It asks us to take a look at whether or not we are recognizing the supports that are available to us. In the traditional rider deck, the Five of Pentacles card is an elderly woman and a boy. The woman is hunched over wearing rags, and the boy is limping along beside her, and they're walking in the snow past a church. And the whole point is, wow, I'm really sorry that you're having this difficult time. There's a church right here that's available to you where you can get some support in your network. It's almost like what's going on is that the cards are suggesting to you, okay, you're getting ready or you're considering a big move. And I want you to consider, have you seen everything? Have you looked at all of the angles? Have you looked inside the church, right? Maybe there is something available to you that would change your decision, right? Maybe there is something, maybe there is, let's say you are considering closing your business, but there is a business loan program available. And this card, this Five of Pentacles, is saying, hey, don't just automatically walk by the loan office. Maybe you're considering leaving school. And this card, this Five of Pentacles, is saying, whoa, hold on. Go talk to your counselor. Maybe you just need to switch majors. Go talk to somebody who is available at the university to help you. And the additional card that I pulled for clarification, the Knight of Pentacles, in my mind just reinforces this, because, this card is the person that you want standing next to you when you're feeling like you're unsure, things aren't going the way you want them to go. And the Knight of Pentacles just has this vibe of, I got this. Don't you worry. We have got this taken care of. So to put them together, it really looks like there's something, as I said, that you are considering leaving behind, and you are being asked to really take a look at it, to consider it, to talk to your Knight of Pentacles energy and say, okay, is this a smart move for me, or is there some support available for me that I am not seeing? And like I said, in general, the energy is really, really nice. So I'm not getting the vibe that this is something life-threatening or necessarily even hugely life-changing. It's just something that you need to look at and reconsider a decision that you're making. Okay? So enjoy this Ace of Wands energy this month. Give yourself permission to start something new, to try something new, to have a little bit of an adventure. All right, that is it for this month's Taroscope. I will see you or talk to you next week in the regular podcast episode. Take care. Hello, Sagittarius. It is March already. Can you believe it? We're going to do a 3-card reading this month. We're going to pull a card for your general vibe for the month, just kind of what the energy is like for you, what you can expect. We're going to pull a card that illustrates where some growth is possible for you this month. Where in your life can you make some changes for the positive? And lastly, our 3rd card is a card that offers some suggestions for actually making that growth happen, or putting yourself in a position to support the ability even for that growth to occur. So the general vibe card for the month is really pretty cool. I think you're going to like it. It is the Magician. And the Magician is the first official card of the major arcana. And it is all about having everything you need to create whatever it is you want. You have access to all of the resources. You have the alchemical, the magical ability. You have support from the universe. You have a leadership personality, and you're basically unstoppable. And that's what's around you this month. So I hope that you're able to take advantage of this and really use it in a way, use it for good, not for evil, but use this as a way of maybe creating something special, right? And it doesn't have to be something special for the rest of the world. It can be something special for you or your family, but it really is a very positively energetic time. All right, so the area where you have some growth possible is the King of Pentacles. And a suggestion for putting what we learn about ourselves from the King of Pentacles into practice is the Six of Wands reversed. The King of Pentacles is the king of the business world, of finances, of industry, of money. And he's a powerhouse. I mean, he's the guy that you want on your side when you're thinking about a new startup, right? He is dynamic. He has a great business sense. People listen when he talks, and he gets stuff done. In this case, when we combine the King of Pentacles with the Six of Wands reversed, what we're coming up with is a situation where it almost looks like the growth that's possible for you this month has to do with, in a sense, putting you in your place in a way. This card really has a vibe of someone who expects things to go their way because they pay people to make sure they go that way. And because it's combined with the Six of Wands, I am thinking that there's a suggestion here that in some way you are feeling like you're the person who is doing all of the work and you're not getting the recognition. That's where the Six of Wands reversed comes in. And so this card combination for the month is suggesting that where you can grow is in this area of remembering why you're doing your work, remembering that you're not just doing this work for money. You're not just doing this work to be recognized for it. You're doing this work, hopefully, for some other reason. And it's almost like this is a little bit of a reminder to say, hey, yes, you're important. Yes, people look up to you. And you're just human. Somebody else might occasionally come in, steal your thunder, get credit for your idea, but the idea helped people, and let's not worry quite so much about being in the limelight as the star of the show. So this month, these three cards actually play really nicely together because it's almost like there is this awesome, creative, dynamic energy behind you this month that's ready to pop. And there is this suggestion that you recognize in yourself your motivation for what you're doing and sort of check your ego a little bit at the door. So really, actually, it's a good one. I mean, nobody likes to have to check their ego, but really what it's saying is there's so much positivity. You are such a strong and dynamic person that you just need to remember good things are going to happen when you're around, and you don't always have to be the one to get the credit for them. All right, nice one. Okay, that is your horoscope for the month of March, or your tarot-scope for the month of March. Next week, I'll be back with a regular podcast episode, and I look forward to talking to you then. You have a great week, Sagittarius. Go out, make good things happen with your magician energy. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your monthly reading. This is your tarot scope for the month of March in 2023. We're going to do a 3-card reading today. We are doing a general vibe card just to get a feel for what the month is bringing, how it's going to feel. We're doing a card that is suggestive of an area where there is some growth possible for us this month. And we're doing a card that provides some insight into putting that new growth into practice, or helping it manifest. The first card we have for the general vibe is a great card for Capricorn. It's the 3 of Pentacles, right? It's the card of mastery over something, over stuff in the physical world. It is someone who has achieved a certain level of skill and may even be starting to recognize, or maybe even getting some notice for their mastery, for their skills, for their abilities. So the general vibe of this month is good time to get something done. Your skills, your talents, your gifts are going to really come in handy for you this month. You're going to have an opportunity to use what you have mastered during the course of this month. This is a card that I really would like to see at the beginning of the month for a reading related to work. This one, the 3 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles. If you're someone, and if you're a Capricorn, you may be like this, who enjoys nothing more than digging into work, whatever it is you do, and getting into the flow state where boom, 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 things are just happening, things are working, and they're going great. That's the vibe of this card, okay? So enjoy that this month. Take advantage of the fact that you are the master and you can create whatever the heck you want to this month. The area where growth is possible is your 6 of Cups card. And the 6 of Cups card is a card that is usually looked upon as quite pleasant, a card of memories, a card of nostalgia, looking back on what happened in the past with fondness, remembering, something that your little brother said when you were 5 that you thought was the funniest thing in the whole world. That's the kind of vibe that we have in terms of area where growth is possible. So that would indicate to me that potentially it would benefit you to try to open yourself up a little bit more to this nostalgia. Not live in the past, not let your past rule your current life, but it might benefit you to take a look at some events from your past and to realize that, yes, there were hard things, but there were also some really, really pleasant and nice things. And potentially work through some issues, some challenges, some feelings that you have around your past family life. Could even be your recent past family life. It doesn't necessarily have to be when you were a child, although it often is. So this card could be telling us that, hey, you need to relax and let some of that past stuff in. It could be saying, hey, are you remembering the past correctly? We all have memories of our childhood. For better or for worse, our memories tend to change and to morph and not always be as accurate as we would like. So is there something going on with you where this card is asking you to take a look at that, where it is asking you to say, okay, this part of my childhood was really, really crappy. But let me take a look at this other part. Maybe there's something else here for me. Maybe there's something else that I'm not giving a fair chance to. And the card that is offering suggestions for putting this into practice is the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune typically means change, right? It means cyclical, spiralic change and growth over the course of a lifetime. Sometimes we're on the top of the wheel, riding high, everything's wonderful. Other times we're holding on for dear life at the bottom of the wheel, underwater, feeling like we're going to be drowning. The only thing we can count on for sure with the Wheel of Fortune is that there will be change. So in terms of looking at this card of change in relationship to an area where growth is possible, I think the clearest and most simple observation to make is that it is an opportunity, it is a suggestion that we, or you, I guess, it's a suggestion that if there is something there for you that you need to be working through that is a part of life. Working through that is going to help you get from maybe heading down on that wheel to the wheel starting to head up toward the sunlight and toward where you want it to be. In other words, it could be that this is a suggestion that you need to work through some stuff, that you need to recognize that life is cyclical. You need to recognize that you are not your past, that there is room for creating something new. And even with all of that possibility, even with all of that wonderfulness, you will at some point be back under the wheel because that's just how life goes. And if we can learn to go with that flow of the wheel a little bit more and not fight every second of when we're in a space where we don't want to be, things are easier. And this, I believe, is just a suggestion for you to take a look at that and see what's up with you, what you need to let go of, what you need to process, deal with, so that you can allow things to change and move forward the way you want them to. So really kind of a nice taroscope for this month. You've got this lovely Three of Pentacles energy. It came up for the Capricorns, so that's kind of like a little present for you. And then, the Six of Cups work is work that I think probably all of us have on some level, right? Working through stuff from our past, working through things from our childhood. And it's hard, right? They call it work because it's hard. But doing so can open up a whole new world for you. So if this is you this month, if this resonates with you, then I really suggest that you take some time and you take a look at what's there for you and get some help if you need to, or do some meditation or whatever it takes to at least begin the healing process and working to the point where you're getting past some of these things that are creating challenges for you and don't feel good, right? All right, that is it for this month, Capricorn. I will talk to you next week. We will have a regular episode then. And in the meantime, you have a good week and take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself as you start to consider what it is that you might want to be looking at. Take care. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your monthly tarot scope. We're going to be talking about 3 different cards this month. We are going to be looking at the general vibe of the month, just the energy, how it's going to feel. And then we're going to look at 2 cards that are related to some personal growth. We're going to look at one card that suggests where there is some growth possible for us this month. And the second card is related to basically how to make it happen. So our general vibe card for this month is the 2 of Wands. And this is a beautiful card to have as a general vibe because it's all about possibility. The 2 of Wands, it's about preparing for something, about putting plans into place, about considering what it is you want, what it is you want to create, how you want it to look, and taking some time to really consider those things. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the figure in the card is holding a globe, and it's almost like he's got the whole world in his hands, right? He has everything that he needs right here in the palm of his hands to create whatever it is that he wants to do. And wands are action oriented, so man, stuff's going to happen, right? And that's what's available to you this month. So if there is something specific that you are planning, that you're thinking about, that you are working on, this is a great time. The energy is available for you to really tap in, to start planning, to start looking, to start considering what it is you want this thing to look like. And because this is such a nice card and because it's this whole world in your hands thing, my suggestion is that you don't temper yourself. You don't it's the word I'm looking for. Throttle. You don't throttle yourself, right? You spend some time in this space of open creativity and what's possible. You may come up with some things that are completely impossible, but the idea is to open your mind to different possibilities and the creative process of creating your life. So take advantage of this lovely card this month and enjoy that. In terms of an area where growth is possible, we have the 2 of Cups reversed. Typically, the 2 of Cups reversed is going to point to a little bit of trouble in paradise, a little bit of conflict or discomfort or something not going well between 2 people. The 2 of Cups upright is about people coming together, people joining and creating sort of a unit and having a common purpose. The 2 of Cups reversed indicates things coming apart a little bit, of things coming to an end, not working quite as well as they could. Sometimes there is a little bit of bitterness and a little bit of pissiness in this. So just something to be aware of. So how does this information, how does this relate to an area where growth is possible? It relates in that the next card is the Hierophant. And putting these two cards together really helps create the meaning. The Hierophant is a guide, often a religious leader, someone, typically a man, who is in the position of guiding us morally. The Pope, right? The Pope is a very good example of the Hierophant. A bishop, a priest, someone high up in some type of organization that is about morality, that is about how we should be living our lives. Someone who's very comfortable asking you to question whether or not you're doing the right thing. The combination of these two cards leads me to believe that there is potentially something going on. You have a relationship that is not going as well as you would like it to. And, or you're hesitant to get some help. You're hesitant to share it with everybody. You're hesitant to put it out there. You want to just try and deal with it on your own. But this Hierophant coming up is saying, hey, no, I'm here to help, right? So yes, you are potentially experiencing some sort of interpersonal challenges, but there is help available. And this is a suggestion to you to reach out for that help if you need it. We're not saying that you have to reach out to a priest, a religious figure. The suggestion is to reach out to someone you trust, whose wisdom you trust, to guide you and help you make a decision and look at the situation with more objectivity than you're currently looking at it. And keep in mind that this does not have to be a romantic relationship. I mean, it can be, but it could also be a business relationship. It could be a situation where you and another person have started a business together, started out great, strong, all on the same page, doing really well together, and now all of a sudden you're having differences of opinion in how to manage things. Well, again, another opportunity to talk to the Hierophant in your life. Maybe this is the business, small business administrator, somebody, that you can go to, a nonprofit organization, and get some suggestions or some mediation or whatever. So my whole point being, it doesn't have to be related to romance, although it can. So to wrap up your month, you have your Two of Wands energy that is just this glorious, possibility-filled, you can do whatever you want and things are going to go your way type of feel. And your work for the month is to look at, where in your life you might be having some interpersonal challenges with someone, and consider looking for some assistance with that, getting some help, getting some guidance to help you work through and see what it is you need to see so you can make a responsible decision and a dispassionate decision about your business or your relationship or whatever it is that we're referring to. All right, that is it for this month, Aquarius. I hope you have a wonderful month. I hope you enjoy this Two of Wands energy. I wish it were mine. And it's a good one. So enjoy, have a little bit of personal growth on the side, and have a good month. I'll talk to you next week for our regular podcast. Be well. If you enjoyed this episode of the Learn Tarot with Moxxie podcast, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. It helps other people find us when you guys are vocal about who we are, what we are, where we are, and what we offer. Remember too, if you want to submit a question for a tarot reading, You can sign up on the Moxxie website, and there will be a link in the show notes for you below. Those questions are questions that I will consider for using as example readings during podcast episodes. Of course, everything is 100% confidential. There will be no hints or tips about who you are, but it would be a way for you to get a question answered by me and share a learning experience with everyone else. So if you are interested in doing that, in that free reading, please head on over to the Moxxie website where you can sign up. And again, there will be a link in the show notes below. Remember too that the website has a ton of resources and freebies that are available to you that will help you on your tarot learning journey. And lastly, if you want to stay up on the nitty-gritty of what's going on at Moxxie, I invite you to be a free member of the Moxxie community. You just need to pop over there, sign up. I know that we don't always catch every single episode, and signing up will mean that when there is a new course announced, you will hear that. When there is a new blog post that I am particularly pleased with, I will send that as well. You have my word that I am not an over-emailer, because I really do not like over-emailing, and I don't like reading through tons and tons of emails that just seem to be sent for the sake of being sent. So I promise I will not do that to you. So those are some ways to stay connected with Moxxie and ways that I invite you to join the community. All right, you take care. Have a wonderful week. Be kind, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.